Yes! Finally I get to talk about it. The thing that I've been itching to talk about ever since the idea of releasing Globgor from the crystal was first introduced. I didn't feel like I should because it's not actually in the show. It's just in the stinking spellbook, which I still haven't finished. The crystal pulverizing spell. Something that, was it Eclipse's mom came up with, I think, or something like that. A spell which can free things from Romulus's crystal. It's the reason that Eclipse was interested in the spellbook all the way back in that last episode where she was interested in the spellbook. She was not, in fact, simply concerned with becoming better at magic. She was interested specifically in that spell. She did know of its existence. That is 100% confirmed at this point because in this episode, the monster and the queen, Eclipse goes into Star's mind without Star knowing to learn that there is a piece of the spellbook still in existence, sneaks into Star's closet and steals it. Star then discovers this and goes to confront Eclipse, but in the meantime, Eclipse magicked her way into Globgor's mind to spend a day with him and talk to him about this once it's finally time to reveal to him what her true intentions actually are. And they do a really clever thing where they use the transition and the framing to make it seem as if Eclipse has already released Globgor, that Star is too late to stop her, and then we start getting scenes with the two of them together. And you know, if that had been the case, I don't know that it would have been all that bad. Globgor is a fantastic person. Like, clearly, he has some iffy history with humans. He's done some pretty terrible things. But you gotta realize, the humans kind of started it. They were kind of the instigators behind all of the conflicts with the monsters in the first place. That doesn't justify literally eating people, but it does justify fighting back against them, being angry with them. And where I was worried for a while that Globgor maybe hadn't changed as much as Eclipse thought, this episode puts those concerns to rest. He has genuinely changed. He has genuinely come to accept that he needs to grow as a person and let go of those old grudges. And while he still makes cringy jokes about his past, he doesn't seem anxious at all to revisit it. In fact, he seems like a far more reasonable person than Eclipse. I'm actually kind of bummed that he hasn't been ruling by her side this entire time, because if he had been, I think she would have been a better queen because of it. That's how reasonable a person he actually is. In fact, by the end of their time together within his mind, he has deduced what's going on, or at least he's deduced most of it. He's deduced that what he's seeing isn't actually real, and Eclipse fills in the blanks, informing him that she is visiting his mind using a spell. And when she reveals her intentions to complete the crystal pulverizing spell and let him free properly so that he can become reintroduced to human society and meet his daughter, he stops her because he recognizes that the humans may not be ready to accept him yet, and that he still holds grudges that he doesn't want to act upon, and he's not 100% sure that he won't be compelled to if he's thrust back into that hostile situation. Like, he's so level-headed that at first I thought he had to be, I don't know, manipulating Eclipse in some way, but I can't see how telling her not to free him, if his goal is to manipulate her into maneuvering him into a position where he can do more wrong, I can't see how that would facilitate that desire. So I have to assume that that desire doesn't exist. And watching the next episode, which I have already watched the next episode, I don't think it does. I think he is genuinely a redeemed character. I think we are seeing this character after their redemption arc has already completed, which is such a cool place to begin our time with this characters. How many characters are you introduced to after their redemption arc has completed without them really making a big deal out of it? And if the previous episode, A Boy and His DC whatever, was wholesome, this episode is like sugary whipped cream cake frosting levels of wholesome. Eclipse and Globgor's time together, it's frankly adorable, and they do some fantastic and creative things with his size-changing ability that it facilitates their interactions in a way that, while I'm mesmerized by it because it's visually interesting, it also somehow makes their interactions more adorable. It's great. It's a true testament to how fantastic the scene staging and the animation in this show can actually get. And then that conversation between Eclipsa and Star at the end, after Eclipsa exits Globgor's mind, reluctantly accepting that she can't free him yet, and Star is there to confront her. The spellbook has almost entirely been repaired. Star thinks that Eclipsa is about to cast the spell, and then they talk about it, and Eclipsa reveals that she doesn't intend to do that, but that she is salty with the people of Muni for never coronating her because she feels like they should value her at least that much. And finally now we have a reason why she isn't interacting with her people. It's because she's salty over this one thing. Or at least that's the excuse that she's using. So, Star decides to throw her a coronation and thrust her directly into her responsibilities as queen, because finally during this conversation, Star calls her out for not focusing on her people. This was just an amazing episode. I'm gonna draw some more comparisons to the previous episode if you guys don't mind. Whereas the previous episode reiterated characterization that we had seen in the past, but didn't really do anything to develop the characters much beyond how we already knew them. This episode feels very similar in tone to that one for at least most of its run, but the characters are developed considerably here, since all of those cutesy moments are between a character who we don't know super well and a character who we have never met before at all. And not only that, but the bookends with Star further the plot and further the lore. Honestly, this is what I've felt episodes of this show should have been since the start of this season. This and the previous episode. If every episode this season had been anything approaching the quality of these last two episodes, I would have been consistently happy since the premiere. In fact, looking at the next several episodes, looking ahead at them, I really do wonder if they didn't just cram a bunch of their filler all together into one part of the season for some reason. I don't know why they would do that. It's a very Steven Universe kind of thing to do, and while I'm more forgiving of it in that show than other people are, it still annoys me, and it annoyed me here too. The only thing that kind of bums me out about this episode is that we didn't get any flashbacks to when these two characters, that being Eclipsa and Globgor, were younger, back when they would have met and fallen in love. There are references to it here, like little offhand remarks they make can be used to kind of piece together little tiny snippets of their history, but seeing the title, The Monster and the Queen, I really did think we were going to get a flashback of these two when they were younger, and I do wish that we had, but I wouldn't give up this episode for anything, not even for that. As per usual, guys, I'd like to know, what do you think of The Monster and the Queen if you have seen it? Let's get a discussion going in the comment section down below, or over on my Discord, link in the description, but either way, this has been AJ22, and I will talk to you guys later.